Foreigners who run away from their debts and obligations. Let's do it. So before I get into this video, I'd just like to put a caveat out and just hope people remember it and not troll the comments. This is a very, very small minority of people, of foreigners that do this, and there's a number of reasons why they do it. Now, I had some experience living here, 5 years, and also I worked as an immigration officer for 4 or 5 years in Australia, and I also lived overseas in China for a year as well, so I have a variety of experience with this. What happens quite often is foreigners, they take up degrees at universities, and at the end of their degrees they realise that they've racked up a mountain of debt, but their degrees are not getting them the rate of return that they expected, and they end up working in normal jobs, and they just get totally burdened with debt, and they see going to Japan or Asia as a solution. So not only student debt, relationships break down, and child support is involved, and instead of paying their child support, they feel that if they leave their country, they don't have to pay it, and they're free of these obligations. So I worked as a deportation officer for the Australian government, and we used to deport people that played up in Australia, done some jail time, or were just a bad character. And sometimes you run into foreigners that went to Australia to escape these things as well, and they were unable to make it, and they turned to crime. So this happened in Australia, and it also happens here and everywhere in Asia. So instead of paying their obligations back home, if they have children, paying the child support, or paying their student loans, or paying their personal loans, they just do a runner, and they go to whatever country and try and start afresh. And as I said, I've had a lot of experience with people that have done this, and and for me it's quite easy to spot, especially when you hear their story and the sort of their timelines don't add up and things of this nature. But it is a thing, but it's a very, very small minority, and this video is just to put a bit of information out there that not all foreigner stories are what they seem. When I was at university, Australia has a law where you can be a dual national, so you can have citizenship in 2 or more countries. And some people actually in my class were racking up unnecessary personal loans and extra student loans just to enjoy themselves while they're at university, knowing that they never had any intention to pay these debts back, and they would outwardly tell people, well, I'm going to the UK, so I'm never going to be paying back this money anyway, so I might as well enjoy it. So I'm pretty sure the law's changed now, where foreign governments can still get their loan money back, but these are the sort of lowbrow individuals that exist. And one thing I can say for certain, although it's a low percentage people that do this, it's a very high percentage in ratio terms of people who did worthless degrees. So this not only happens with foreigners that go to Asia, as I said before, it happens to foreigners that came to Australia. And when I was head chef of a tourist hotel in Australia, we used to hire a lot of backpackers, and a lot of the Japanese workers were really good and efficient, and we used to hire a lot of Japanese, and my wife used to help recruit, put the ads out in the Japanese newspapers, and we had a bit of this happening too. So we did that job for about 8 years, and we had a bit of this happening as well, with Japanese guys running out on their wives and leaving their kids here, and earning their money in Australia, and partying it up, and obviously not sending any money home or anything, just pretty much abandoning the whole practice, and people running away from problems, from their dodgy life here as well. So it's not only a foreigner thing, it happens to the Japanese as well, but just like to put out that this phenomenon happens a lot. So you just got to be careful what foreigners tell you when they're living here in Japan. Not everything is the truth. People get themselves in a hell of a personal mess, and sometimes they just see going somewhere and doing something as the only option, or it's the only option they want to do. There's lots of situations like this. So I've just got to drop off a package, I'll be back. So as I said, people get themselves in a bit of a mess, and they see going overseas as a solution to all their problems, but it catches up with them in the end. Not only with the law in their country, but also with their relationships here. Somebody who's straight up dodgy, they get found out eventually. You don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to sort of put two and two together after a while. And when you've got experience sort of in these matters, you can sort of pick this within the first couple of minutes of meeting somebody. And they think it's the first time that we've met, but sometimes I feel like saying, I think we've met about 300 times before. So a lot of times people end up in bad situations, whether it's their own fault or not. And as I said, it's a very low percentage, but it's just always wise to be a little bit cynical at times when you're here, because if you don't meet a lot of foreigners and you do eventually meet, there's a bit of a kindred sort of spirit there or whatever, and sometimes you can sort of miss very big signs of bad character in people. So this is what this video is about, and as I said, 99% of people, for foreigners that you meet here, perfectly fine, but just be on the lookout for these road characters, and they're around, and they're around in your country as well. People that come over to your country and work on working holiday visas or whatever, and it's just a product of bad decisions and luck, or whatever you want to call it. So it's a little bit harder with the ladies. Obviously a lady would never run away from her kids and not pay child support or whatever, but you do come across those crazy spender types, and they rack up huge debts in their countries. Multiple credit cards, student loans, store cards, think of every bit of credit available imaginable, and they max it all out, and they come to Japan or other Asian countries and pretend that it all didn't happen. And they're a little bit harder to spot if you haven't really met the type, but there are ways to sort of spot these people, but they are a little bit more difficult. So it's not just the guys, the girls are just as bad. So I've talked a lot about the best ways to come to Japan and live, and the opportunities available, and I've spoken many times about how the English teaching situation is, while it's the most well known, it's probably the worst option you could have for yourself, but still people are doing it, and a lot of people get the wrong impression that you can live here long term doing this sort of thing, and most of the time these people are only on hourly salaries, and they can be laid off the next day. And some people may see this as an opportunity to escape whatever financial problems they have or personal problems they have overseas, and it's just not going to work out. It's going to compound their problems. And as I said, the best way to come to Japan is the startup visa. Start your own business. The government's behind you. You have all the support networks there, and you have foreigners now that are doing it, such as the Bentons, and they just got their visa extended. So they're a success story. They came here with obviously not a lot of money. They're not rich people, and they're doing their best, and they're succeeding and making a life out here in Japan. So that's pretty much the message of the video, is you can't really cheat in life, and it's the same if you come to Japan. So anyway guys, as I said before, most foreigners are really cool and really good people, but these people exist, and this is the purpose of the video. And as always, hope you like the video.
Let's go back home.